So I'd like to start off this restoration series with an overview video of the Porter McLeod lathe I brought. So since I've picked up the lathe, I've managed to free up the apron slide, the angle adjustment on the compound slide, the tool post has come free. I've also managed to free up the tailstock slide. Now moves along the ways. And I've also managed to free up the tailstock spindle, which is again pretty straightforward. Used a bit of diesel, let it sit overnight. I've also been able to pull the motor out, and that will give you an update on that shortly. I believe it to be a 7 horsepower 3-phase motor. The next step in the restoration is to get the drive clutch working, and it seems to be a little bit sticky, but I'm sure it's just the plates not separating. But overall it seems to be all working, or reasonable enough to get into working condition. Both the power feed clutches down the bottom here all seem to be free enough and actually engage when tightened. So a little bit of history about this lathe. After a bit of research, and of course on the front door, I found it was built in Hatfield, Massachusetts in the USA, so it's quite a long way from home. And it was actually built by Porter McLeod Machine Tool Company in, I believe, around 1839 or around the pre-war era. On the front here it's got a little plate down here. It's got the equipment of this equipment is the property of the Commonwealth of Australia, so must have been a government owned lathe. And above here it's also got another plate, a little bit hard to pick up on camera. It says the finish of this machine is in accordance with the specifications issued by the War Production Board. So quite obvious this lathe was built in the era of World War II. So my plans with this lathe is to restore it cosmetically and functionally. I am missing a door down here that hides the engine motor. The other side has its door, but this one's missing. That might be a project in the future to build a door for that. The guard's also missing on the side here that protects the change gears and the drive clutch and stops your fingers getting caught in the belts. That'll be another project to build. Other than that, for the rest of the restoration, we'll be tidying up the ways which have surface rust. I don't plan on scraping them in at this stage, but I'll get them back to a functional state, and when I actually learn how to do hand scraping properly, that may be a project in the future. Other than that, the plan is to paint the whole exterior, or where the existing greenish sort of paint is, paint that with a army sort of forest green, and then do the handles black, and on the tips we'll do a chrome finish for a shiny finish. One other thing that may actually need to be machined for this lathe is some more change gears. This lathe only came with one change gear, although it does have a quick change gearbox down here on the front, it would be nice to have those extra gears so you can have a wide range of have the opportunity to do all threads, but that'll come down the track. When I brought this lathe, I was also lucky enough to get the 3-jaw chuck that goes with it. I also got the steady rest, the stationary one, as well as the follow steady rest. They need to be all cleaned up. Another part that needs unseizing is the chuck thread. The chuck's threaded onto the spindle. I've tried rocking it back and forwards, but that hasn't freed it up yet. I've got other methods to try, but that's been a bit tight, so I'm not sure on my success rate. Not sure how successful I am going to be of getting that chuck off there, but hopefully it'll come free. And on top of that, the electronics, or some of the buttons at the front here, this one here in particular is sticky, but that's going to be no problem to source another button to replace that one. And the lathe will also probably need wires, probably need tidying up a little bit, but other than that it's pretty straightforward. You just got the incoming power, which comes in the top here, which is actually hooked to a isolator switch. Actually no, that's a isolator switch, as well as forward and reverse. So the incoming power comes in this cable here, through the drum switch, and then down this cable into the power box, and that there feeds this circuit breaker, which in turn powers the motor, which is these cables here, and runs down this cord here into the motor bay. Now the worst part of the whole lathe condition, considering it has been sitting out in the weather and there is, I would say, light rust, but it's not very pitted, is the fact that once upon a time it had a little accident and the cross slide's been brazed up. So I'm not sure how much trouble that's going to give me, but it does have tapered gibs, so it being broken on the tapered gib side, it may not actually be that big of an issue. Well, obviously we'll see when we get it up and running and get some dial gauges on it, but you can't get everything for $100. Another difficulty I'm going to face is, well, I don't know what any of these nameplates say, and so the one down on the quick change toolbox is in about the same condition. It's all rusted, so obviously they use steel. It's been rusted, so I'm not sure if that'll clean up enough for me to read it. I doubt it. So I'm also going to have to calculate all the change gear ratios and build my own chart from scratch, so that's going to be interesting. So the next video I'll probably do is pulling down the 3-phase motor. Now it runs smoothly and seems like it'll be in working condition. It's a bit cosmetically damaged, but we'll clean that up with the wire wheel, and then we'll get some paint on it, and that'll be that part complete. I'll also probably end up testing it and see if it all runs, but it all seems to spin pretty easily. Obviously has bearings in it, but it's got these little grease nipples. Well, I believe it to have bearings anyway. It may actually have sleeves, and this may be where you grease it. Not sure, I've yet to find out on that. But basically it just needs to pull apart, and then in the back here there's a bit of dirt and stuff in there, so there might be a few hornet nests and whatnot up in there, but other than that I think the windings will be fine. But that'll be all in the next video, so subscribe if you want to keep up with the lathe restoration, and give us a comment if you've got any suggestions or ideas.